Mail Online.
Now, their legal action claims to have compelling evidence of gross breaches of privacy by associated newspapers.
Now, the publisher has responded to those allegations. It's described them as preposterous smears.
Joining us now is the Deputy Editor of The Spectator, Freddie Gray. Hello. What do you make of this? Is this an attack on freedom of speech, or is it an attack on bad journalism?
Well, bear in mind that I am a journalist, so obviously my opinion is coloured somewhat. But these are extremely serious allegations, and they say they have compelling evidence. But the Mail refute them pretty strongly and call it a fishing exercise. To me, at a glance, and I haven't seen the compelling evidence, I don't think anyone has, outside of the people immediately involved in it. To me, this looks like a group of celebrities smelling blood. Prince Harry's had some victories. Prince Harry and Meghan have had victories against the Daily Mail, smelling blood and thinking we can do what Hacked Off did to the News of the World.
But you can't do it unless you've got evidence. I mean, that's the basis of all this. Why would you bring a claim unless you think you've got compelling evidence?
Well, we don't know, and perhaps they do have compelling evidence, but the Daily Mail seem adamant that it's a fishing exercise, and it could well be. It could be a kind of, if we just root around these stories, going back, up to 30 years, we will find that the Mail has done something and that various associated papers have been guilty of misdemeanours. And I'm sure if you do enough fishing in any newspaper, going back far enough, you will find this.
But they're coming up with specifics of breaking into cars, bugging houses. It's not just
bugging landlines.
It's not just rooting through the bins, is it?
No, the allegations are very, very serious. And I think what you get a lot of in a lot of these cases is extremely sort of serious allegations start with, and then it ends up being a minor infringement of privacy, which was the case with Meghan's victory over the Mail. But actually, But it was a victory over the Mail. It was a victory. It was a victory, and in fact, they said, we now want to reshape tabloid culture. So maybe this is part of...
The Mail ones too.
No, Meghan and Harry.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. They're on a mission to transform
one
the
of the names here is Doreen Lawrence.
That is a very interesting one.
Yes, Stephen Lawrence. Now, we know that the Mail ran a campaign to actually name the murderers of Stephen Lawrence. So in that way, you could say that they wrote a lot of stories that were entirely supportive of the Lawrence family at the time. However, they subsequently, I think you could say, wrote some pretty invasive pieces about the Lawrence marriage and things like that. We don't know what it's got to do with. Well,
the Mail take a lot of pride in their role in the Lawrence story, and they feel they're on the side of justice and racial justice. But the fact that she's in this suit is interesting, and it suggests that there's been some planning, and that it is, as the Mail said, an orchestrated attempt to embarrass them, and it's a PR drive to hurt them.
But they also said, forgive me if I'm misquoting, but one of our guests earlier said that they described it as libelous.
Well, the Mail are saying it's libelous, yeah. Or slanderous, I think, yeah.
Slanderous. Well, look, but if it is slanderous and these claims prove to come to nothing, then these celebrities and Doreen Lawrence are in hot water, aren't they?
Well, there could be a countersuit, yeah. The thing is, celebrities increasingly think that they can shape the narratives about themselves through PR agents and so on. And to a large extent, they can. But what we're seeing now, particularly with some of the tabloids, is a desire to completely scrub anything they don't want from the papers. And when rich and powerful and famous people can do that increasingly, I think that leads to a very dangerous situation. So, again, as a biased journalist, I'm very much on the side of the papers.
No, but we're journalists as well, and we're not biased. I mean, journalists don't have to be biased, do they?
No, but I'm in favour of free speech. Yeah.
And we all are, surely, but where
some
journalism...
people aren't.
But where journalism encroaches people's rights to privacy, and we saw that happen in the Hacked Off campaign.
Yes.
We saw time and again repeated stories of journalists just going too far, or private investigators going too far, being paid by journalists. It just went too far, and it was reprehensible behaviour. And if the Mail is guilty of reprehensible behaviour, then it should be called to account, shouldn't it?
Of course it should. But all these things fall under criminality.
And they may well do, mightn't
they? And if they do fall under criminality, they should be punished. And everybody who's sane agrees with that.
So just saying that these are celebrity names who are bringing this action doesn't sort of call into...
Well, it
doesn't devalue their case, does it?
And again, I haven't seen the compelling evidence, but to me it looks like a group of celebrities getting together and thinking, let's go after the Daily Mail because we've had a couple of victories over them on privacy, now's the moment to strike.
Right. It could just be, sorry, I was just going to say, it could not be just a group of celebrities. It may be a group of people, some of the biggest names happen to be celebrities, who can actually afford to pay good enough lawyers to bring this case.
It could well be. It could well be.
I mean, just because they're celebrities doesn't mean that their case is wrongful.
Well, all right. But I mean, I think they feel, a lot of people feel aggrieved at newspapers, and a lot of people don't like what's published about them. But I'm afraid that's the way it works in a free speech society.